Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're doing something a whole lot different. We're currently trying to test out each and every single fruit damage in Kinglegacy, and we'll be doing this all the way from common fruit to mythical fruit. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get straight into the video. And we're still doing the grinding bosses till I get the drops. So we still don't have the acro dagger, which is kind of insane, honestly, bro. But we do have the acro mask, which is cool, and we also don't have the pirate blade. I'll be making like a whole separate video for swords later on. But let's go ahead and just get straight into the fruit damage. And without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Okay, so for the first fruit of today, we are using spike fruit. So do this. I remember when this was no, not spike fruit. Yeah, okay. Let's just go ahead and test out the moveset. So Z move. I used to grind with this fruit a long time ago. Spike rush. Okay, let's do that one more time. Spike rush. That is actually insane. This is a pretty good fruit for grinding it in first C. But for I forgot to mention my stats. We're currently max health, max sword, and max fruit. And for accessories, let's see. We're currently using Abyssal Tyrant armor, but let's go ahead and use fluffy glasses. Yeah, let's use this, and this is also max upgrade. Nice. Oh, we're so fast. Okay, so let's do this one more time. So for spike fruit, the Z move, 18,000 damage. The X move, 41,000 damage is insane. Now for the C move, 13k damage, and for the V, what? 18k damage, which is actually not that bad. So let's go ahead and test out the whole, what the total damage is on this fruit. So, see. Oh my goodness. 92k damage is insane for a common fruit. So let's go ahead and head into the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit, we have spin fruit. So let's go ahead and eat this. Okay. And this only has one moveset, so let's see. Bro, this is so bad. This does no damage whatsoever. Yup, this is not recommended. Let's head over to the next fruit. Alright guys, so for the next fruit we have bomb fruit. So let's go ahead and test this out. So let's see. So for the first moveset, Z, 9,000 damage, not bad. X, what the heck? 14k, and then for the C. Nah, I gotta get closer to him. Oh my goodness, it's not even hitting him. Wait. Honestly, that's not bad. And for the V move, explosion, 18k. I think that's a charge move. Hold on, let's go ahead and charge it real quick. V move, let's go ahead and charge. 18. I think it's just 18k, not bad, honestly. But I think it's a charge move. I'm not sure. He keeps casting out the move. Let's do it from up here. That sounded so cool. What the heck? Okay, that does a total of 18,000 damage. Let's see what the total is if we use everything. 50k damage, not bad for a common fruit. And let's head right into the next fruit. Okay, for the next fruit we have wolf fruit. Holy moly, I do love this fruit, honestly, bro. I used to use this fruit when I used to grind in my early days in Kinglegacy, bro. OP fruit right here. Let's go ahead and eat this. Okay, so let's go ahead and transform. Yo, bro, look at me. Okay, let's do this. So, triple kick. 21k damage, not bad, not bad. Next one, C. 18k. Not bad. And the V move. Oh my goodness, that looks so cool. 8,000 damage. That is actually pretty bad for like a main damage attack skill. But let's take a look at the total damage. So let's see. So and triple kick and air slice. 52k damage. Honestly, that is way better than bomb fruit. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have telekinesis. So let's go ahead and eat this. Nice. Now for the first moveset, whirlwind. 13k, not bad. Charge strike. Hey, this fruit is actually kind of pretty cool. What? Not bad. For the next one. Oh, it's like a attack. Okay. But let's go ahead and use V first. Let's see. V Sky Force. Oh, that's a fly. Okay, cool, cool, cool. That is actually cool. What? Bro. Did this fruit get a revamp? That is actually cool. Okay, let's go ahead and use C. Ooh, 3k. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Actually not bad. Let's go ahead and check out the total damage for everything. So Z. 33k. Honestly, the moves look, the movesets look kind of flashy, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend this for grinding. So let's head into the next fruit. Alright guys, for the next fruit we have the giraffe fruit. So let's go ahead and test this skill set. Okay, transform. Bro, why does it run like that, bro? That is so weird. Okay, so skull impact, 18k damage. C, 20k damage. Breakdance. 21k. That is insane, bro. What? The fruit is actually OP for like a common fruit for a C. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. All right, let's see. So let's do a breakdance first. And then skull impact. And then slam. Oh my gosh, 60k? That is actually not bad. What the heck? Bro, that's OP. Okay, let's head to the next fruit. Alright, so for the next fruit, we have string fruit. So let's go ahead and do this. Nice. And let's see. So for the first moveset, we have multicolor cuts. Oh, okay, I messed up. Let's do that one more time. 15k? What? That is insane. Next one, string bullet. 13k, not bad. $18k for the third moveset. That is actually insane. What? And then for string prison, 18k, not bad. And string, I think string pack is like a, oh, that is so cool, bro. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So that's like a movement skill. So let's go ahead and test out like the total damage. Okay, so for the Z move, 15k, 29k. Nice. 66k. That is actually pretty nice. If you're in first seed, this is a nice fruit for grinding, honestly. This is a pretty nice fruit. So let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have shadow fruit. So let's go ahead and eat this. Nice. So shadow eruption, let's see. 20k. Shadow bat. Oh my gosh, what? 35k? That is actually pretty cool. And shadow explosion, 22k. And then shadow teleports. Does that do damage? Nope, nothing. Okay, let's go ahead and I think it's got a revamp. I'm not sure. It's gonna do shadow explosion first. Shadow bat. $78k. Oh my gosh, this is actually pretty nice. I wouldn't say this is recommended for like mob grinding because you really can't do much if you can't attack a bunch of NPCs with a large AoE. But this is not a bad fruit, honestly. Let's head over to the next one. Okay, so for the next fruit we have smoke fruit. So let's go ahead and test this out. Nice, so white out. Let's see. 22k, not bad. And then white snake. 18k, not bad. White floor. 6k, not bad. And then white hydra. 15k, not bad, honestly. This is not bad. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. So let's see. And that was like 40, yeah, around 40k. Honestly, that is not bad. That is not bad at all. Let's do that one more time. Oh, never mind. 62k. What am I saying? That is insane. Okay, let's head to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have love fruits. Now, I currently have this awakened. So this is love V2 or V3, I'm not sure. And it should be love V2. Let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So Z 18k, X 14k, CC. What? 40k? That is so bad. And then V 30k. Oh, not bad, not bad. And let's go ahead and test out the total damage for everything. Okay, so let's do C first. X. B. 69k. Honestly, not bad. That is not bad at all. But let's head over to the next. Alright, so for the next fruit we have the barrier fruit. So let's go ahead and click this. And let's see. So Z push 13k, not bad, not bad. X 15k, not bad. C. Is this a move? Like yeah, this does 0 damage at all. Let's see if we move 11k, not bad, and barrier pistol 20k. Actually, not bad. So, honestly, I kind of like this. What the heck? Yo, it can keep going? Yo, that is so cool, bro. What? I had no idea you could do this with this. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. So let's do barrier pistol. 60k damage, not bad. Pretty quick cooldowns as well. But I wouldn't suggest this for grinding. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have the control fruit. So let's go ahead and eat this. Alright, let's see. So I think we do need zone control first. I'm not sure. Yeah, we do. So zone control. X does 22,000 damage, which is pretty insane. C 9,000 damage. Oh, what the heck? 18,000 damage. I still is hard. That's insane. Okay, and let's do V. 29,000 damage. And I think Blink is like a move set. So let's do E. 22,000 damage. Honestly, not bad. So let's go ahead and test out the total damage for this fruit. So let's do C first. Oh, C. No, never mind. Let's redo that. I never knew C had two sets. So hearts. Oh, I'm bugged. What the heck? Let's do that one more time. I don't know what happened there. Let's do that one more time. So this. So let's do C. Alright, let's see. 27k. 17. That's oh my. Honestly, that was over 80k damage. That is pretty insane. And if you pair this with the Kyoru V2, that sword, it's pretty OP. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have the rubber fruit. So let's go ahead and eat this. Nice, so let's do Z. 13k damage, not bad. X. 18k. Let's do C. 12k, not bad. And I don't think the glide does any damage. Oh, it does. Let's see how much damage this can do. I know it's... How much damage does it do per hit? Like 433? Yeah, like 433 damage per hit. So, which is actually not bad. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. And you can also transform too. Nice. So this is the second moveset. So Infernal Hawk. 18,000 damage. Turbo Cannons. 37,000 damage. Where is he? Come on. Jet Barrel. 19,000 damage. And then Super Glide. This does 453 per damage. Yeah, around 453 or 460. Yeah, 453 per damage. Which is pretty insane. Let's go ahead and test out the total damage for this one. Let's see. Can you transform again? We go back to being normal. Let's test out the total damage for the normal skill sets first. So, this. Around 44,000 damage, which isn't bad. And let's go ahead and transform. Now let's go ahead and check out the total damage for this one. So, 18,000 damage. Oh no, oh no. Oh my gosh, bro. Let's do that one more time, bro. Let's do that one more time. That pushback is insane on this. Okay, so let's do this one more time. So let's do C first. C, and then X. Honestly, 56 is actually insane. Not bad damage right there. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have the mammoth fruit. So let's go ahead and eat this. Nice. So let's see. Can we get damage on this? Smash. 13k damage. And X. 16k and tackle. 18k damage. Not bad. Let's go ahead and test out the total damage before the transformation. So, see. So 48,000 damage. Wow, that's without the transformation. So let's go ahead and transform. Oh my gosh. Bro, what the heck is this? Alright, so the Z movesets. Heavy Smash. 14,000 damage. Okay. Alright, Heavy Rock, let's see. 17,000 damage. Super Tackle. 19,000 damage. Honestly, oh, and you can't even dash with this fruit, bro. I wouldn't recommend this at all, bro. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. So C, X, and 51,000 damage for the total. Honestly, wouldn't recommend this fruit. But let's head over to the next fruit. Alright, so for the next fruit we have the brachio fruit. So let's go ahead and eat this. Okay, and let's see. So for the first move, Shatterhead. Wow, 19,000 damage. I think this fruit got a revamp and a rework. I'm not sure. Yeah, I did. Let's see. So X, Dino Fire. What? That looks so cool. 21,000 damage. Oh my gosh, that is actually pretty cool. Let's see. C, Ground Break. 18,000 damage. Not bad. Actually, not bad. And let's see the Sky Rotor. That actually does a lot of damage. Oh, never mind. There's like 183 damage per hit. That is actually not that bad, honestly, because it's pretty fast. So you're pumping way more damage per hit because it's faster. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage for everything. Okay, let's see. So let's do Shatterhead. 19,000 damage. 39,000 damage. 59,000 damage. 3.6k. That is actually insane. Okay, let's go ahead and do the transformation. Yo, bro. Yo. This looks so goofy, bro. Can we dash? Oh, you can dash with this fruit. Okay. Alright, let's see. So, Cannon Headbutt. 20,000 damage. Blaze Barrage. 23,000 damage. Wait, I think without the transformation, you do way more damage with the X moveset. So, let's go ahead and do the C move. 23,000 damage. Whoa, these fruits are now OP. I mean, that is actually pretty cool, honestly. And Titan Flight, I don't think that does damage. Oh, does 274 per hit. That's actually not bad. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage for this fruit. So, Cannon Headbutt, 20k. 67,000 damage. Honestly, not bad. This is not a bad fruit for grinding. Would recommend this for second C as well as first C, but not exactly third C. But honestly, you can actually use this for third C. I do see players using. No, never mind. I've never seen anyone use this for third C. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and head straight into the next fruit. Alright, so for the next fruit, we have the Buddha fruit. Now, I currently have this awakened. So this is Buddha V2. Yup. So Buddha V2, but I don't think you can use this without the transformation, can you? Yeah, you gotta transform. I forgot the transformation does damage. Wait, I want to do that one more time. Yep, 13,000 damage for the transformation. Honestly, not bad. Holy bro, look at me. Okay, let's see. So divine imprint, 20,000 damage. And how much damage does the M1s do? 6,000 damage. So that's for the M1. And heavenly shot, let's see. 27,000 damage. Not bad, not bad, honestly. Honestly, I love the Buddha fruit, bro. When this got awakened, I think this was in update 9. But it was pretty cool. And celestial beam, let's go ahead and do this. Like, just look at that, bro. That looks so cool. 22,000 damage, not bad. And sacred temple, 21,000 damage. Actually, not bad. Actually, not bad. So let's go ahead and test out the total damage for every single moveset. So let's do E first. And then B. And close to 100k. Honestly, I would highly recommend this fruit for grinding. It is pretty OP. Honestly, this is like an 8 out of 10. Recommend this fruit. And we also do have this force right now. I think this does like a, let's see, what does this do again? Does that heal you? No, I don't think so. I think that's for the sacred temple. No, I'm not sure. I don't remember what those do again, but if you guys do remember what those flying orbs do, you can go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. But let's head over to the next fruit. Alright, so for the next fruit we have the dark fruits. Now I don't think I have dark V2. I think this had a you can awaken this fruit, but let's see. Do I have dark V2? Nah, no I don't. So let's go ahead and just test it out with dark V2 for now. But let's see. So stone barrage, 26,000 damage. Pretty cool, pretty cool. X black hole, 14,000 damage, not bad. Dark tornado, 10,000 damage, and dark ball, 20,000 damage. Honestly, dark fruit is so pretty. It's pretty cool. If you're grinding, I would suggest this fruit, honestly, bro. And if you get dark V2, oh my gosh, bro, it's so cool. So let's go ahead and just test out the total damage. So V. X. And then dark. 71,000 damage is pretty OP. Honestly, I would recommend this fruit. This is like a solid 8 out of 10. Even just for the V1, I would highly recommend this fruit. So without further ado, let's just head straight into the next fruit. Okay, for the next fruit we have venom. Now, I don't have Venom V2. Oh my gosh, I'm actually kind of behind in the game, bro. So, I'm currently on Venom V1. Wait, do I have Venom V2 unlocked? I might have Venom V2. That's insane. Okay, let's test this out. So, for the first moveset, so, multiplying shot. 6,000 damage. I heard Venom was pretty OP for grinding. So, we can keep doing this. Oh my gosh, 27,000 damage. And the cooldown on this is insane. Yeah, so 27,000 damage, which is actually insane for the first moveset. And for the X one, 20,000 damage. Honestly, not bad. And that was kind of loud too. But let's go ahead and test out the C moveset. So Hydro Assault, 28,000 damage. What? This fruit is OP. And before we go to the demon's form, let's look at Viper's Pit. Let's see, E. Oh my gosh, 27,000 damage. I think this is Venom V2. Yeah, this has to be Venom V2. I did awaken this fruit, so... And B is just a teleportation move. Really doesn't matter. But let's head over to the demon form. Let's see if the transformation does damage. It does 227 damage. And let's go ahead and see multiplying shots. Okay, now let's try that one more time. My transformation is doing some damage. 50k is insane. Let's try that one more time. 27,000 damage. Maybe I need to get closer. Can I get closer? Yeah, oh my gosh, that freaking range is kind of weird. But let's just leave it at 27,000 damage. Let's do Hydra Devastation. 18,000 damage, 19,000 damage. Honestly, not bad. Hydra Assault. No, let's do that one more time. That made no sense. We'll come back to Hydra Assault before the cooldown, but let's do Viper Spit. Oh my gosh, 31,000 damage. That is insane. That is actually insane. But let's go ahead and transform into C one more time. Let's have a timer. Don't forget about that. So let's do Hydra Assault one more time. That was like 26,000 damage. That was definitely like 26,000 damage, which is not bad. Honestly, this fruit is so OP, bro. But let's go ahead and check out the total damage just without the transformation first. So now let's do that one more time. Let's do that one more time. 24,000. Oh my gosh. 100,000 damage is insane. This is actually insane. This definitely, I think this got buffed a long time ago, which is actually pretty cool. But let's try and do it with the transformation now. So let's do demon transformation. Damage. Let's do multiplying shots. X. C. Let's do Viper's Pit. Oh my gosh, bro. This is insane. That is insane. Let's do Hydra Assault one more time, and I want to do that one more time. Wow, bro, over 100,000 damage, and it just continues too. This fruit is OP, bro. This fruit is actually OP. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, bro, this is so OP. Alright, let's head over to the next fruits. Alright guys, for the next fruit we have the aloe fruit. So let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, I think it's got a revamp as well. So let's do Apex Charge first. 19,000 damage, not bad. Flame Surge. Oh, 29,000 damage. Insane. And then Power Roar. 18,000 damage, not bad. And for Sky Spin, I don't think that does any damage. I do not think that does any damage. But let's go ahead and let's check out the total damage before we transform. So Apex Charge, 19,000, Flame Surge. Yeah, so 67,000 damage, which isn't bad. But let's go ahead and check out the transform moveset. So Predator Dash, 18,000 damage. That somehow does way more less damage than without the transformation. Oh, let's do that one more time. Let's see. 18,000 damage. That is weird. But let's do X. Oh my gosh, 34,000 damage. Insane. Let's do Dominance Howl. Oh, right there. Let's see. So, C. Ooh, 21,000 damage. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then Apex Whirl. I don't think that does any damage. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't do any damage. So let's go ahead and do the test out the total damage. So Predator Dash and oh no. 83,000 damage, which is insane. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that one more time, because I actually transform back to human. So let's do Dominant's health first. So C, Predator Dash, and 74,000 total damage, which is actually pretty cool. I would highly recommend this fruit for PvP. I mean, for grinding, not for PvP. Definitely not for PvP, but just for grinding. And the movement is pretty easy too. Actually nice. Honestly, I kind of like this fruit. Not bad. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have Gravity. Gravity is a pretty OP fruit already. Pretty good for grinding bosses and NPCs because it has a large AoE. Honestly, it's pretty good. I hope this didn't get a nerf. But let's go ahead and test it out. So I do have. Is this Gravity V2? This might be Gravity V2. But let's go ahead and wait for the movesets cool down first. But I think this is Gravity V2. I don't know. I'm not too sure if Gravity has an awakening. But yeah, let's go ahead and test the movesets. So pressure. 16,000 damage, not bad. Meteorite, 22,000 damage, pretty OP. It's Gravity. Let's see, Gravity Rock. I think Gravity Rock is like the fight. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. And Meteor Rain. Let's do that. 66,000 damage. That is actually insane. What? Yeah, Gravity's still broken. I'm actually happy Gravity's still the way it is. Honestly, let's just leave Gravity alone, bro. It's a perfect fruit the way it is. Nothing needs to change, bro. But let's see, B. 30,000 damage. Honestly, not bad. Gravity's still OP, and that is good to see, guys. That is very good to see. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage for everything. So let's see who B first. This. Then pressure. 170,000 damage. Oh my goodness, that is insane. Gravity's still OP. That is a W right there. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have the leopard fruit. So let's go ahead and make this. Alright, so I think you can transform. Bro, what is going on? Why am I stuck in a... You know what? I'm not gonna say too much about this Kinglegacy, but let's go ahead and test. That is so. Let's go ahead and retransform, bro. What the heck? All right, now we're back to standard animation. But let's see. Tackle. 18,000 damage, not bad, bro. Kinglegacy, you have to do something about this fruit, bro. This is a rare fruit, and it's one of the worst rare fruits in the game. Like, bro, there's a common fruit that's way better than this fruit, bro. Like, we gotta do something about this. But let's see. C, Grand Ray. Actually, not bad. 20,000 damage. Honestly, this is not bad, and I like the movements too. What? This is actually pretty. This is pretty cool. And Roar. Let's see. B. 20,000 damage. Flame Bullet. Let's see. Oh, we gotta do that one more time. Wow, that's an insane cooldown. 6,000 damage. Let's do. Wait, how much does it do for the first hit? 3,000 damage. Okay, not bad, not bad. But let's go ahead and do the total damage. Let's see. So, tackle, Grand Ray, and whoa. 66,000 damage. Honestly, that is not bad. That is not bad at all. But let's head over to the next fruit. Bro, it looks so good. Alright, for the next fruit we have the sand fruit. Now, I don't remember the last time I ever used this fruit, but let's go ahead and test this out. This might have been a buff or a nerf. Okay, let's go ahead and see. So, C, Sand Bullet, 16,000 damage, not bad. Sand Spike, Ooh, 23,000 damage. Pretty cool. What the heck? Sea quicksand. Oh, that's a whole move. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's go ahead and do sandstorm. Oh, nice. 27,000 damage. Let's go ahead and do sea again. 20,000 damage. Not bad. Oh, and he can't even hit you too. I totally forgot about this. Alright, let's go ahead and do sand bullets. Check out the total damage. C X. Sandstorm. What? Bro, you know what? Let's do the sandstorm first. But this is so cool that the fact that it can't even hit you, that's nice. Let's go ahead and wait for the cooldown. Okay, so the oh my gosh, bro, that is so annoying. You know what? Let's always see one more time. So sand bullet, sand spike. 75,000 damage is actually pretty cool. Sand is pretty nice, honestly, and I think the quicksand is pretty good for grinding like mobs. Yeah, it's pretty nice. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, for the next fruit we have the spino fruit. So let's go ahead and eat this. Nice. So let's see. So frenzy slash, predator owl. Okay, let's do the Z move first. Ooh, nice. 19,000 damage. Pretty cool. Predator owl, let's see. 18,000. Not bad. Oh, sand is doing way more damage than this. Crazy. Ancient turn. 18,000. And rolling crush. 906 per hits. Honestly, sand is doing. You know what? Let's go ahead and test out the total first. I think sand did 71,000 damage, but let's go ahead and see this. So, frenzy slash first. Predator owl. Ancient turn. Yeah, sand does way more total damage than this fruit. This does 57,000. Sand does 71,000, which is actually pretty insane. But let's head over to the next fruit. Alright guys, for the next fruit we have the palm fruit. Now I did hear this, I think this got a rework and a buff, but let's go ahead and test this out. So I've never actually used this fruit before. So mini palm, 18,000 damage, not bad, I like what I'm saying. Let's see, palm barrage. Ooh, 21,000 damage, not bad. Let's see, claw stomp. Ooh, 20,000. Oh my gosh. Let's do palm burst. Oh, that is so cool. 18,000 damage. And the B move, palm nova. Ooh, I like this. Let's see. Oh. Oh my gosh. 24,000 damage. Not bad. Honestly, the movesets look pretty cool and flashy, but the damage is actually not that bad. And I think this is a rare fruit, yeah. So let's go ahead and check out the total damage. So let's do palm burst first. And palm nova. 40,000? 60? Oh my gosh! 103,000 damage for the palm fruits. Yo guys, this is insane. I would highly recommend this for first, second, and third C. This is a crazy fruit right here. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, for the next fruit we have the snow fruits. Now I remember when the snow fruit got a awakening and a rework, it was pretty OP. Everyone used to use this fruit for PvP meta. It was so broken. But let's go ahead and eat this. And this is Snow V2, by the way. So let's see, frostbite, 21,000 damage, still insane. Blizzard ballet, let's see. 12,000 damage, not bad. Snowstorm, 23,000 damage, not bad. And then Blizzard Zone. Yeah, this moveset got such a big nerf. Yeah, 22,000 damage. Actually, not bad. Not bad at all. Snow is still OP, even for PvP. I mean, even though they gutted it so much, if you're skilled, you can still pull like 2 mil bounty off this fruit right here. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. And see. 78,000 total damage. This fruit is still OP, both for grinding, PvP and PvE. And for the E move, it's just like a teleportation thing. So it's just like that. It really doesn't do any damage. But without further ado, let's head over to the next fruit. Alright guys, so for the next fruit we have the magnet fruit. Now I did hear the magnet got a rework, and I'm not too sure if it got a buff, but let's go ahead and test that out right now. So keep this. So Gatling Magnetoid, that's the Z. Ooh. Oh my gosh, 25k. Did get a buff. That is so nice. Polar Beam. Oh, what? 20,000 damage. That is insane. That is so cool. Dual Magnetize. Ooh, 20,000 damage. Not bad. And for the next skill set, the 22,000 damage. Not bad. Honestly, the knockback on this fruit is so insane. And the B, yep, 17,000 damage. Honestly, I think the fruit got a buff, which is actually pretty cool. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage for the magnet fruit. So let's see. C X C B and B. Close to 100,000 damage. That was definitely 100,000 damage. Yeah, definitely 100,000 damage. Not a bad fruit. I will actually recommend this for like first, second, and third seed. Like this is like a solid 8 out of 10 revamp. Not bad. But let's head over to the next fruit. Alright, so for the next fruit we have the gas fruit. Now this, I think this fruit got a revamp or a rework. Let's go ahead and test this out. So fairy cut. Let's see. Ooh, 20,000 damage. Not bad. X fruit. 18,000. Nice. Let's see. Oh my gosh, 19,000 damage. And then gas zone. Oh, what? 18,000 damage. And let's see the fly. Does this do damage? Nope, nothing at all. Bro, what the heck? Alright. Let's go ahead and test out the total damage for everything. So let's do 76,000 damage is not bad for this at all. I think gas got a rework, or it does it have an awakening? I think it has V too. I'm not too sure. But yeah, gas is pretty nice. What the heck? 76 total damage. That's pretty nice. But without further ado, let's head over to the next fruit. Alright guys, so for the next fruit we have the spirit fruit. So let's go ahead and eat this. Wait, I'm not too sure. I think spirit got a rework. Might have, but yeah, we need to do pet summon. Okay, let's see. They still look the same. They just looks way more texturized now. But let's go ahead and see. So thunder. What? 20,000 damage? That is actually pretty nice. Flamethrower. Oh! Oh my god! 33,000 damage! Oh, this got a buff. No way. I think Spirit got a buff, bro. That is insane. Okay, let's do Thunder mode. Wow, it did get a buff. 20,000 damage. Pillow Fire. Let's do B. Bro, 24,000 damage. And then Cloud Ride. Does that do damage? No. But yeah, definitely Spirit did get a buff, which is actually so cool. Bro, we have been waiting so long for a Spirit buff, and it's finally here. Honestly, I'm not too sure if the buff came this update or the last one. But this is actually pretty cool. Now we can grind using the Spirit Fruit. So let's go ahead and do... let's check out the total damage. So... Thunderbolt. Okay, bro. 95,000 damage with the Spirit Fruit is insane. This definitely did get a buff, and that is pretty cool. But yeah, let's head over to the next fruit. Alright guys, so for the next fruit we have Magma. Now Magma is like an OG fruit. This fruit has been forever being broken. It's a pretty nice fruit, honestly, for grinding, for boss farming, for dungeons, for NPCs, anything actually. But let's go ahead and test out the skill sets. This is one of my favorite fruits in the game. So let's see. So Precipitate. Still a pretty nice fruit. 37,000 damage. That is insane. That is honestly insane. Like, that's just the first moveset. X. 29,000 damage. Oh my goodness, bro. Magma is still so OP. And oh yeah, I did forget to mention, this is Magma V2. This is in V1. So let's go ahead and use C move. Yup, 5,000 damage. Still OP. And let's do the V. 19,000 damage, still pretty OP. And for the E, that's a flying move, but I think the flying move actually does some damage. So let's wait for the cooldown and do that one more time. So E, 4,000 damage. Honestly, not bad. That is not bad, bro. This fruit is still so OP. So let's go ahead and do the total damage. E. 100,000 damage. Honestly, this isn't bad, bro. It's still Magma. Magma is still OP. One of the best fruits in the game. But yeah, let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, guys. So for the next fruit, we have ice fruits. Now, I currently don't have ice V2, but let's go ahead and test out ice V1. I've never actually used this fruit before, which is insane, bro. But let's see. So ice pigeon. 13,000 damage, not bad. Ice barrage. 17,000 damage. Wait, is this ice V2? This might be ice V2. Ice spike. 27,000 damage. Ice floor. 18,000 damage. And let's look at ice surf. Does no damage. Honestly, ice is still pretty OP. I'm guessing this is V2. But yeah, honestly, that is so nice. So let's go ahead and test out the total damage. So 76,000 damage. That is pretty cool. That is actually not bad at all. And honestly, I would recommend ice for first, second, and third C. It's a nice fruit. I'm not too sure if this is V2, but you guys go ahead and let me know if this is V2 in the comment section. I'm thinking it's V2, but let's head over to the next fruit. Alright guys, so for the next fruit we have the flame fruit. Now I'm not too sure if this has a V2, but this fruit is pretty OP as well. Now let's go ahead and test out the moveset. So 16,000 damage, not bad. Infernal Pillar. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's go ahead and do C. Firefly. 19,000 damage, nice. 20,000 damage, not bad. And Fire and Burn. 19,000 damage. Honestly, you would think that move would do over 20,000 damage, but 19,000 damage for that is so underwhelming. Like, they have to go ahead and buff that move over there. And Flame Fly does nothing at all, but it's a pretty fast fly. Let's go ahead and test out the total damage. So, yep, 70,000 damage. That is not bad at all. That is not bad at all. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have the light fruit. Now the light fruit is pretty OP. I do like this fruit a lot. And let's eat this. And I'm currently on light V2. So yeah, bro, this fruit is so OP. It's just like run forward. 33,000 damage. What? Let's do X. 29,000 damage. Oh my gosh, life fruit is still open. C. 15,000 damage, not bad, not bad. V. 27,000 damage, not bad. And for the E is just the light move. Honestly, light is still OP, bro. I'm actually happy to see that. I'm not too sure about V1, but V2 is pretty OP. So let's go ahead and test out a combo. So 33k. $78k already? That's insane. Oh my gosh. 105,000 damage? Bro, light is freaking meta right now. Yo, W for right here, bro. Honestly. But yeah, I'll definitely rate like a 10 out of 10. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have the gold fruit. Now, I'm not too sure about this fruit. I rarely use this fruit. I think this has a V2 or an awakening. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about this, but I'm just going to test this out. So eat this. So our brilliant shot. Let's see. 15k, not bad. 1 in a million shot. I mean punch. Ooh, 27k, not bad. Cold War. 18,000, not bad, not bad. Change of fate. Ooh, nice. 7,000 damage. Huh, gold is actually not that bad. I mean, 7,000 damage is kind of terrible, but the movesets are pretty flashy. And let's look at Golden City. What? 36,000 damage. That is actually insane. Honestly, gold is pretty nice. Okay, let's go ahead and test out the total damage for everything. So Z, 15k, 42k. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is insane. 100,000 damage for gold. Highly recommend this fruit for grinding. Honestly, this is like an 8 out of 10 fruit right here. I will definitely recommend this for grinding. And let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit, we have the Rumble fruit. Now, Rumble did get a V2 and Awakening. But let's go ahead and test this out. I never got the V2. I mean, I was grinding for the V2. But I just need the V, yeah, the V movesets. I currently have the Z, X, and C, but not the V. Hopefully I can get it later on. But let's go ahead and test out the movesets. So Z, 19,000 damage, not bad. X, 22,000 damage. Nice, nice. Arrow blitz. 15,000 damage. Yeah, Rumble is still pretty good for grinding. Honestly, I don't know if this is just me, but I prefer Rumble V1 to Rumble V2. Yeah, that might just be me. Black ball. This is one of like the best skills in Rumble. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. 26,000 damage, and he is just like a teleportation. But I think this is V2 for Rumble, so this might actually do some damage. So let's go ahead and test that out. Oh yeah, it does damage. So 12,000 damage for that. Actually not bad. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. So let's do. Close to 100,000 damage. Honestly, Rumble V2 is still pretty OP, just with Rumble V1. Rumble in its own it's a pretty OP fruit. I'll definitely recommend this for any grinding whatsoever. And let's head over to the next fruit. Alright guys, so for the next fruit we have Quake. Now Quake is a pretty OP fruit as well. I love this fruit, and this is V2 on Quake. Yeah, because it does have an awakening. So let's go ahead and do Devour Smash. Nice. 26,000 damage, bro. That Z move is so OP. I love that move, bro. And X, 21,000 damage. C, 20,000 damage. And we'll go ahead and do V. Hopefully the tsunamis actually reach this dude. Let's see, V. They actually reach. Come on. No, they didn't reach him. That's one issue with the Quake fruit. So let's go ahead and do an NPC down here. Let's see if we can find one. Yeah, over there. Oh, that's perfect. I want to do it on like a boss. Let's see. I don't want these guys. I don't want these guys. There should be a boss over there, so let's go ahead and do that on that boss. Or if not, we'll just go ahead and let's do it over here. Perfect. Let's do V. Please don't hit those. Oh, crap. Did they? Oh, they did. Yeah, this moveset it's a large AoE. I would highly recommend this for anything, honestly. But I'm pretty sure that was like 50,000 damage, or at least 30,000 damage if you take out that NPC over there. But let's head over to the Unearthy. Let's go to Fugitive. Let's see if we can do this with Fugitive. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Fugitive. I mean, try this with Fugitive. Let's see. So V. Nice. Oh, nice. Cool. 54,000 damage. That is actually insane. And then for the B moveset, 18,000 damage. Honestly, that B moveset is so trippy, bro. That is so trippy. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage on, let me go ahead and Q Fugitive real quick. Honestly, I don't think yeah, let's go ahead and just let Fugitive spawn in again. Or not, never mind. Let's head over to that island over there. I think that was... let's go ahead and deal with this guy. So let's wait for the B moveset first. Okay, let's test out the total damage. So let's do V, X. Oh my goodness. See? No. Okay, nah, never mind, bro. Let's go ahead and deal in that other NPC over there. I don't know. That one wouldn't work out. But honestly, Quake pushes out like over 100,000 damage, and it's one like the best AFK grinding fruits, even for like farming materials or anything like that. So Quake is like a solid 10 out of 10, bro. honestly. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit, we do have the phoenix fruit. So I'll go ahead and equip this because I do own a permanent phoenix. So let's do pyro shot. 16,000, 23,000 damage. This just heals me. Aura heal just heals me. Burning spiral. 18,000 damage. Nice. And flight doesn't do any damage. And this is Phoenix V2 as well. Yeah, just to make sure. And let's go ahead and do the transformation. Let's see if the transformation does any damage. Transformation does 19,000 damage. Honestly, which is pretty insane. So let's go ahead and do Z move. Oh my gosh, this freaking mob is so annoying. Oh my good, nah. We gotta hold up. Just 1 sec. Let's head back to that NPC over there. Combat. Gate. Equip this. Head over to this NPC arena. Next. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one more time. So go ahead and use the transformation and use the Z move. Transformation does do some damage. You know that. So let's do Z. Oh my gosh. Nah, we gotta do that one more time. Come on. That knockback was kind of insane. Oh my gosh. 93,000 damage. Bro, Phoenix is so OP, bro. Divine Heal just heals me. Yeah, it grants me health. But let's see Pyro Vortex. So C. 22,000 damage. Pretty insane. And then Scorching Fury. $18, $19, $20, $22, 22,000 damage. Honestly, Phoenix is still OP. I think when they came out with the Awakening for Phoenix, I think this is like the first legendary awakening in the game, which is actually pretty cool. And yeah, the Phoenix is actually pretty nice. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, for the next fruit we have Melody. I do have a permanent Melody, so let's go ahead and equip this. And let's see. So we have Harmonic Wave. Z move. 18,000 damage. I think Melody got a nerf. Yeah, definitely did get a nerf. Well, let's see. So X move. 9,000 damage. C move. 18,000 damage. And let's do. I think the flight has a damage too. Yeah, the flight is so OP. 25,000 damage. And let's do V. 22,000 damage. Honestly, Melody doesn't feel like it got a nerf. It's still pretty OP, even for grinding as well. And I remember when players used to use this for PvP. Pretty broken. I used to use this too. I used to use this with was it the Hunter Blade? Or yeah, Bone Scythe. But let's go ahead and check out the total damage. So Yep, it's still OP. 94,000 damage. That's just the fruit itself. And yeah, it's pretty good for PvP and grinding as well. Well, let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have Dragon. So I do have a permanent Dragon, so let's go ahead and use that as well. Dragon is a pretty OP fruit. So Z, blazing bullets. 13,000 damage, pretty nice. X, 19,000 damage, cool. C, 18,000 damage, nice. And I think this, oh yeah, for the E move, we need to transform. So let's go ahead and transform. Nice, bro. Dragon is still so OP. And mine looks pretty cool too. So let's see, blazing bullet, 40,000 damage, pretty cool. I think X has 2 movesets, so there's one that you can just tap once. 20,000 damage, and the other skill set is that you need to hold the X move. So let's go ahead and wait for the cooldown first. So hold X and 22,000 damage. That is actually pretty nice. Now for C move, 36,000 damage, nice. And for the E move, this is the main thing. Ooh, 40,000 damage. That is nice. Okay, let's go ahead and test out the total damage for the dragon fruit. Okay, so let's go ahead and use blazing bullet first. Wreaking havoc. Like how? And wow, this fruit is still so broken. I love this, bro. 138,000 damage, which is pretty standard for a legendary fruit, honestly. That is pretty OP. Would recommend this for NEC. This freaking destroys NEC, honestly. But let's head over to the next fruit. Alright, so for the next fruit we have the dough fruit. So let's go ahead and equip this. I currently don't have a permanent dough fruit, but let's just go ahead and eat this. And I don't have dough fruit awakened as well. This is still V1. Bro, that's insane. I'm still in dough V1. But let's go ahead and test this out. So Z move, 13,000. Oh my gosh. X move, 18,000. Liquid drop, 3,000. I've been punching. 18,000 damage. Short spike. 18,000 damage. Dose spin does, I think dose spin does do damage. Let's see. Yep, 1,800 per hit. So let's go ahead and check out the total damage. Now guys, I'm still in Doe V1. So Doe V2 might do way more damage than what I'm currently doing. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. So shot. 72,000 damage for just the V1 is pretty nice, honestly. Yeah, those still a pretty good fruit. V2 is even way better, but let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next one we have Gate. Now Gate has been gutted so much. I'm not too sure how much damage it does, but this is one of like the best movements. I'd say like the teleportation skills in the game, but it's still a nice fruit, honestly. I like the way Gate looks, and yeah, it's still like the best looking fruit in the game. Apart from like Toy does look good. Yeah, so Toy and Gate, like one of the best looking fruits in the game. Yeah. But let's go ahead and test this out. So I do have permanent Gate because I need this a lot. I actually use this way more than any other fruits. So for the first move set we have Z, 17,000 damage. Honestly not bad. Next one, X, 18,000 damage. Next one, C, 19,000 damage. For the next one we have V, 20,000 22,000 damage, which is not bad. And the E is a teleportation that can just teleport you anywhere on the map, which isn't bad. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage for the gate fruit. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with the V move. $77,000 damage, honestly, which it's not bad for gate fruit, but this used to pump out way more damage. Back when it was like the meta, or like it was like the best PvP fruit you could ever use in the game. But yeah, gate is still pretty nice to use. For grinding mobs, I'm not too sure, unless you pair with a sword like the Riptide that pumps out like insane amount of damage. Yeah, I'll suggest you do that. But yeah, honestly, the fruit is still pretty good. And let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit, we have the toy fruit. Now, I currently don't have permanent toy. Well, let's go ahead and... Wait, before that, let's go ahead and take a look at this fruit. Yeah, this fruit does look cool. So let's go ahead and eat this. I've never actually used this fruit before. So let's see. So, Guardian's Punishment. 25,000 damage. Honestly, that's cool. X. 12,000 damage. Not bad. C. 5,000 damage. And V. 12,000 damage. And E. That's the transformation. Not bad. I think that's 6,000 per hit, which isn't bad. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. So let's see. So let's do Z. Skill sets they change. 25,000 damage, not nice. Armageddon. Let's see. X. Wait, what? 10,000 damage. I'll just leave that as that. Let's see, C, 16,000 damage, V, ooh, nice, 42,000 damage. That move right there makes this entire fruit like worth it. And then E's to dismount the Rex, but nah, let's go ahead and test out a full combo first. So let's do this, Armageddon, let's do C, and let's do this. $83,000 damage. That is not bad at all. Yeah, toy fruit is still, I mean, the legendary for the toy fruit is still OP, makes sense. But just keep this in mind. Magma and gravity does way more damage than this fruit, which is actually insane. And those are both epics, so sheesh. Even Quake does way more damage. But let's head over to the next fruits. Okay, so for the next fruit we have the tree fruit. Now I currently don't have like a solid fruit for this. I do have a permanent though. But let's go ahead and test out the first moveset. So Z, 21,000 damage, nice. X, 43,000 damage. That is insane. And for the C, oh nice, 24,000 damage. That's pretty cool. And the E does nothing, it's just a fight move, which looks pretty cool. And let's head over. Oh yeah, those mushrooms also do some damage. So let's do the transformation. Transformation does do some damage too. 16,000 damage, not bad. Let's do the Z move. Oh my gosh, that knockback is insane. 20,000 damage. Okay, and let's do X. 24,000 damage. That's nice. C. Oh my gosh, bro. I'm gonna have to do C again. But let's go ahead and do E. 36,000 damage. That is insane. And let's do C again. 25,000 damage. That is nice, honestly. The tree fruit is actually so nice. It's a nice fruit to actually use for grinding, even for PvP. Trust me, if you know a good combo with this fruit, you can leave it in the comment section below and I can test it out. But the tree fruit is actually pretty nice for PvP. But let's go ahead and test out the total damage. So let's do E first. And X. Now let's do that one more time. Let us do that one more time. That Z move is so annoying. I think I'm gonna do that at the last move. So let's do E. X. Oh my gosh, I messed up again. Wait a second, let's wait for the cooldown. Bro, let's do it. Alright, so let's do the total damage. So E. Let's do X. C. And Z. 111,000 damage. That is so cool for the tree fruit, honestly. Best for both PvP, grinding mobs, and also grinding bosses as well. I probably made a video about that because most of my grinding bosses till I get the drops, I use the tree fruit and authentic mace. But let's head over to the next fruit. Okay, so for the next fruit we have the demon fruit. So let's go ahead and test this out. So Z. 21,000 damage. Okay, that's nice. X. 23,000 damage. Not bad. Face blast. 23,000 damage. Not bad. And blaze fly. Let's see what 20 damage. Let's do that one more time. It does 1,800 per hit. And the fight is pretty fast too, which is actually nice. And let's go ahead and do the transformation, see if that does any damage. That did 11,000 damage. Not bad. And this fruit is so fast, honestly. Look, this is what the leopard fruit should have actually been. And the wolf fruit, bro. But let's go ahead and test this out. So, demon core. 25,000 damage. Nice. X move. 26,000 damage. Not bad. Head palm. 24,000 damage. That is pretty nice. And for the E move, $33,000 damage. Honestly, you would think that E move would do so much damage, just like the tree fruit that does like I think 40,000 damage. But this does like 30-something thousand damage. But let's go ahead and test out the total. See. E. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? See. $110,000 damage. So 1,000 less damage than the tree fruit. Honestly, this fruit is pretty nice as well. And I guess those are all the fruits in Kinglegacy. Oh, never mind. There's one more fruit that we haven't tried out. So let's go ahead and test out that fruit as well. Okay, guys. So this is the last fruit in the game. And this is the mythical turnon. And this just recently released in this update. And let me know what you guys think about this fruit. Honestly, I don't find this fruit that bad. But it doesn't... If it comes to damage, I feel like there are better fruits out there that are like legendaries that are way better than this when it comes to damage, even epics as well. But let's go ahead and test the moveset first. So let's do without the transformation. So let's do Z. 21,000 damage. Not bad. X. 29,000 damage. Not bad. C move. 22,000 damage. This fruit is pretty nice for PvP. And Abyss Gate, go ahead and do that. 18,000 damage. That is not bad actually. So let's go ahead and test out the total damage without the transformation first, and we'll go ahead and do the damage with the transformation. So let's do Abyss Gate first. So let's see. E. Thanks. Wow, 76,000 damage. That's without the transformation. That is pretty nice. Now let's go ahead and do with the transformation. Let's see if the transformation does any damage. It does 4,000 damage, and for the Z move, let's see. Oh my god! 58,000 damage is actually insane, bro. Never mind. I take that back, bro. This is like the... Yeah, this fruit does a bunch of damage. A ton of damage, bro. And then for the X... 44,000 damage, bro. That is still insane. For the C... 36,000 damage. That is not bad. You know, I actually do want to go ahead and try that one more time. But I was going to do the E first. So E... Oh my gosh. 49,000 damage. Pretty close to 50k. So let's do the C one more time. I think this did 40,000 damage. 37,000 damage. Which is not bad. But honestly, this fruit is still so OP, bro. So let's go ahead and see how much damage we can pump out with the total movesets. So let's do E first. Honestly, B. Oh my gosh. And C. Wow. This is insane. Yup, 171,000 damage, and the cooldowns are pretty insane as well. Yeah, this is the most broken thing in the game right now. But without further ado, I guess this will be the end of the video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.